Hebrews, Hebrews, Hebrews. This is Israel Wake Up. This is our Women Advanced Bible Study. The 24th of April, 2025. Okay. We'll be reading out of the book of Enoch tonight. Okay. We'll read a few chapters. Okay. You go to our YouTube channel, the Prophets of Israel Wake Up. Check out our videos. We have over 100 or so videos that you can look at. And we come on every Thursday night, 7 and 9, the sister channel to Israel Wake Up, to Israel Prophets of Awakening. Israel Wake Up is our sister channel. Okay, this is a non-Messianic channel. We deal with the Tanakh and the Torah. Tanakh being the Old Testament, so-called Book of Remembrance. The Torah is the first 5 books of the Old Testament that was given to Moses by our Redeemer and our Savior, the Lord of Hosts. Okay, this channel is here to aid and assist Hebrew Israelite women who are waking up to their identity. Okay, so if you feel a need to chime in and deal with what's being delivered, you're welcome. Okay, shalom and welcome to the channel, and welcome to our Women's Advanced Bible Study. We're going to do our normal, which is the moment of silence, prayer, psalms, our women's health moment. We have current events, leading no information. Then we open it up for Q&A, comments, and dialogue. If anybody have any questions or comments, and then we're going to our topic. Like I said, we'll be reading out of the book of Enoch, and then we'll pick a scripture and break that down, and then we'll close out from there. Okay, this moment of silence is for the Lord of Hosts, and all that He's doing to bring about our prophesied deliverance in these last days. Okay. Oh Lord, we come this day praising Thee and worshiping Thee with our might and our power and our great understanding. Oh Lord, the end times are here that You have foretold unto us by our forefathers. Oh Lord, give us strength and wisdom to endure all that Thou hast foretold. Give us, oh Lord, knowledge, rightly divide Thy word, that it is delivered in righteousness and in truth. There's great confusion among Your inheritance, O Lord, now that You are awakening them. And I know, O Lord, that Your hand is sure, that Your hand is firm. And we need You so very much in these latter days. And we will tarry and depend upon You, O Lord, because there is none else besides You, O Lord. You are our deliverer and our redeemer. Peace be unto You. Okay? So, that being said, I'll read the Psalms. Okay? Okay. So I'll read Psalms 14, the foolishness of man. It's a Psalm of David. It says, the fool hath said in his heart, there is no God. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works. There is none that doeth good. The Lord looked down from heaven upon the children of men to see if there were any that did understand and seek God. They are all gone aside. They are altogether become filthy. There is none that doeth good, no, not one. Have all the workers of iniquity no knowledge, who eat up my people as they eat up bread, and call not upon the Lord. There were they in great fear, for God is in the generation of the righteous. Ye have shamed the counsel of the poor, because the Lord is his refuge. On that, the salvation of Israel will come out of Zion, when the Lord bringeth back the captivity of his people. Jacob shall rejoice, and Israel shall be glad. So, like David is saying in this Psalms, no matter what happened, the wicked is not going to stop him from bringing forth his prophecies and his promises that he made to Israel. That in the last days, in verse 7, that his salvation of Israel will come to Zion, and when the Lord brings back the captivity of his people, Jacob shall rejoice, and Israel shall be glad. There's nothing on this earth or the planet or the universe that's gonna be able to stop it. Okay, anybody got any comments on that? Okay, we got our women's health moment.
Yes, shalom, everyone. Please know that the information that is shared is intended for general, informational, and educational purposes only and is not medical advice or recommended treatment. Tonight's discussion is on health and herbs. Whether you're a gardener or not, you must plant one of these herbs for your health. These herbs don't just bring flavor to food, but also improve health. Many of these herbs don't take up much space and can be grown on a balcony or even indoors on a windowsill. Oftentimes, we can avoid pharmaceuticals and heal directly from what the earth naturally gives us. My personal vow when suffering from health discomfort is to always try and heal naturally first. Sage. Sage is loaded with antioxidants that are linked to several health benefits, including improved brain function and lower cancer risk. Cilantro. Cilantro is a good source of minerals like potassium, calcium, and iron. It is also rich in many vital vitamins, including folic acid, vitamin A, beta carotene, and vitamin C. Parsley is rich in many vitamins, particularly vitamin K, which is needed for blood clotting and bone health. Parsley is also a great source of vitamins A and C. Basil. Basil helps to fight bacteria in people with respiratory, urinary, abdominal, and skin infections. Thyme can help with irritation and inflammation in conditions like eczema and acne. Rosemary, as part of the same family as mint, the menthol properties of the herb provided potent anti-inflammatory properties for the skin and digestive system. Rosemary oil combined with a carrier oil such as coconut oil or olive oil helps to heal the cracks on your feet and elbows. Chamomile. Chamomile helps treat menstrual cramps, ulcers, heartburn, nausea, and mood swing. Lemon balm, which we discussed last week, it boosts mood, aids digestive problems, regulates thyroid functions, and helps lower blood sugar. Peppermint. Peppermint helps to reduce nausea, soothes upset stomach, reduces fever and headaches, fights colds and flu, and freshens breath. These are herbs that can be used as food, medicine, tea, skin care, hair care, dental care, and so much more. It is incredible when you think about all the natural Bible herbs we can easily access and benefit from daily. Herbs are an incredible gift from the Lord for our health and wellness. Tonight, I will be reading from Proverbs 4, verses 5 through 9, get understanding. Verse 5, get wisdom, get understanding, forget it not, neither decline from the words of my mouth. Forsake her not, and she shall preserve thee. Love her, and she shall keep thee. 7, wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore get wisdom, and with all thy getting, get understanding. Exalt her, and she shall promote thee. She shall bring thee to honor when thou doest embrace her. Verse 9, she shall give to thine head an ornament of grace, a crown of glory shall she deliver to thee. Tonight's discussion was on health and herbs, and I read Proverbs chapter 4, verses 5 through 9. Get understanding. Shalom, everyone.
Okay, appreciate that information. We're gonna go into our current events, play them, and then we'll break it down. Okay.
Accident at Lake Pushmataha is under investigation. This is our top story.
So what happened is we got two more twins that came up missing. Two black boys, twins.
Tonight. Now, on Thursday evening, a call came from Lake Pushmataha in the Pearl River community that an incident had occurred. Choctaw police arrived on the scene and discovered two individuals were in the water. Diamond Baylor has been in Neshoba County today and has more.
According to Sheriff Eric Clark and the Mississippi Band of Choctaw Indians Public Safety Facebook page, a drowning incident was reported Thursday evening around 6:57 p.m. on the Choctaw Indian Reservation at Lake Pushmataha and involved 2 victims that had been under the water for some time. The search and rescue was handled by Choctaw Fire and PD and turned over to the sheriff's office once it was discovered that the individuals involved were non-tribal members. Sheriff Clark confirms that one victim, now identified as Jamarian Grady, was pronounced dead on the scene, and the other victim that was flown to Jackson is his twin, Camarian Grady. He is receiving care at UMMC. News 11 will continue to bring further updates. Reporting from Neshoba County, Diamond Paler, WTOK News 11.
Okay.
East by the Philadelphia School District, the victim identified as Jamarian Grady was a senior at Philadelphia High School, known by his classmates and friend as Frog. The district expressed their condolences and prayers for his twin brother and the entire Grady family, and that they all loved him. Quote, Frog will always be remembered for his light, his laughter, and a legacy of love he leaves behind. End quote. The school district also announcing that plans to honor his life and memory, both in school and throughout the community, will be shared in the coming days. We here at News 11 also extend our prayers to the Grady family, the Philadelphia School District family, and all that are mourning after this tragic accident.
All right. Peace and blessings, all praises to the Most High. And here we have another set of young Black twins. These 2 twins right here, Jamarian and Camarion Grady, if I'm pronouncing that right, happened in Lake Pushmataw, Mississippi, on the Choctaw Indian Reservation. And this event happened allegedly a week ago on April the 17th. And articles about the incident are just surfacing now, even though it happened a week ago. And the information is very vague. As you saw from the article, there is no indication of how they got there, who found them, who reported the incident. Now, they did say who found them, the Choctaw or the Neshoba County Search and Rescue Mission or the fire department. But there's no report of who reported them missing, like the conditions. They're calling it a drowning accident. That's it. Like, were they in a boat and the boat flipped over? Were they struck by lightning? Anything like this. There's no details. Now, you may remember a month or 2 ago, there were 2 more twins, right around the same age, I think 19 years old, Quadir and Nadir Lewis, who were found on the top of a mountain, and they were said to have taken the lives of each other, and then one of them took the lives of himself. Now, the pictures have floated around. They have arrested a firefighter for taking those pictures, but we have yet to hear anything more concerning that situation. Many people feel like they did not do it themselves. So this incident right here automatically raises my suspicions. Once again, this happened in Mississippi. We all know how it gets down in Mississippi. And it happened on the Choctaw Indian Reservation. And it was said that these gentlemen, Camarion and Jamarion, are not members of the Choctaw Nation. So again, how did they get out there? Where are their parents? Why are their parents not, saying nothing? Only thing you heard in that article was a statement from the school. Like, where are their parents' statements? Who are these young men? Doesn't that seem strange? Where are the parents from? Where are if you look up these articles, I've looked up several articles. Twins die after drowning. High school remembers the twins. It doesn't say family or mother grieves over twins. It's focusing on the high school. And they said that they were underwater for quite some time. Okay, how did they get under the water? Like, were there fishing poles left, or it's extremely too vague for me to not raise suspicions. One of the young men was pronounced DOA. That means he was found lifeless on the scene, and the other was flown to a hospital where he passed away this past Sunday. So that was the 20th. So the incident happened on April the 17th. The brother passed on that day. Then the other brother was flown to a hospital. He passed on the 20th. And the articles are just surfacing yesterday. And there is little to no information about it. This one says that they were seniors at Philadelphia High School. The high school released a statement saying that they're going to be providing grief counselors and, support for the students. Everybody's going to wear red and black next week to honor the twins. But where is the family?
Okay. Any comments on that? Anybody heard anything about that?
Shalom, everyone. Yes, sir. I did. I was reading about that earlier today, and like he said, I didn't really understand the statement. Like he said, the school made a statement, but nothing from any relatives at all. Other sisters or brothers or aunts or uncles, cousins, nobody, right? So the story that I read was that, and I don't even know how they get this, is that one of the brothers went out into the water and started to struggle, right? And the other brother went out there to try to save him. So somebody else had to be out there in order to tell that story, or they just, made that up. So we know Mississippi is known for a lot of things. Like you said, if you guys remember when that cop hit a black boy and they just buried him. And even after his mother was reporting him missing, they didn't say anything. And when they found out that the police station had buried him, he had his ID in his pocket, but the police station claimed they couldn't find out who he was. So Mississippi is known for things like this.
Oh, yeah. Is that so?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
sir.
Shalom, everyone. Shalom, everyone. I haven't read the article, but again, like Sister Michelle says, Mississippi is known for that. And to say that they went out, like you say, Sister Michelle, who saw that to even report that? And if they went out, if they found them in full clothes like jeans or hoodie, they wouldn't go out in the water in that. So if they said they had on swim trunks, I can see they went out in the water and then maybe he was struggling or something. But if they had on their clothes like that, I doubt if they would have went out in the water like that. Shalom.
Okay. Anybody else?
Shalom. Yes, and they said that they were not from that reservation. They don't know how they got there. Um, Again, like if their boat tipped over or if they were floating down the river in that area. But the reservation, um, they could see who comes on that reservation. I don't think anyone can just walk upon that area that those people live without being recognized, and not with the parents understanding the parents are claiming the body. Who claims the body, and how did they get all this without a parent, at the hospital without them? This is big news to whoever. They flew the little gentleman to the hospital. There was no one to meet that person at the hospital. For 3 days, they have no channel, no news, people coming out there to talk about it. They're not giving us the exact hospital they went to, the news people that was going to do the report. It's just so much, and I don't know if it's like they were saying about the two gentlemen that was on the mountain being killed, and now the two that's in the river, that one passes in the river, and then the other one passes 3 days later. Um, it is just, again, so with this reporting thing, and this happened last week, and now they're just reporting it now. So many incidents happen weeks ahead, and then they report it late. So, yeah, it's, I don't know if it's something to report for anyone to get upset about them being on the reservation, or them to say for committing suicide in the mountain area where they're going to school. They were supposed to be going to college somewhere, totally away from. They're not mountain climbers, campers. So it's a lot going on, and their parents are still not being, pronounced or coming forth saying that those children are theirs. So yeah, it is so much scarcity in those reports to me.
Our next story is from the United States of America. The White House is making a stunning U-turn. President Donald Trump is having a change of heart. Last week, he roared about crushing China with tariffs. Now he's singing a softer tune and slashing tariffs drastically from 245% to 50 to 65%. That's what reports say. 50 to 65, a massive drop from 245% and a dramatic retreat. What explains this? Is it economic reality or a calculated move in a high-stakes trade war? The answer is, it's a bit of both. 2 weeks ago, Trump declared war from the White House. He announced sweeping tariffs on China, 145% on all Chinese imports, 245% on some Chinese goods, and the result was a massacre. Global markets crashed, almost all indices were in the red, trillions of dollars were wiped out, and what did China do? They hit back with 125% tariffs. Basically, China did not blink. They called Trump's bluff, forcing the US president to take a softer stance. He says he wants to lower the tariffs, but first he wants a deal.
Over the next 2-3 weeks, we'll be setting the number, and we're going to pick, could be for China too, could be for China. Well, we're dealing with almost all of them. Too many to fully deal with, but we're going to be fair to them. But we're dealing with a lot of countries right now, and could be with China, but maybe we'll make a special, a deal.
So from 245% tariffs to a special deal. What is it that forced Trump's hand? The US economy, inflation has spiked, supply chains are choked, recession is around the corner, and Americans are paying the price for their president's bluster. From food to cars to clothing, everything is costlier. Trump calls it short-term pain, but ordinary Americans are reeling. Even Trump's closest ally, Elon Musk, has opposed the tariffs. The trade war has divided the president's team. There have been heated arguments in the West Wing of the White House between Elon Musk and Trump's loyalists. Reports say there was a shouting match. But now the winds are changing. Even pro-tariff advisors are calling for de-escalation, like Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary of the US, the man responsible for America's economic policies. Like his president, Scott Bessent now wants a trade deal with China.
There is an opportunity for a big deal here, that the US is looking to rebalance to more manufacturing. The identity of that would be less consumption. If China is serious on less dependence on export-led manufacturing growth and a rebalancing toward a domestic economy.
The rollback is not surprising. Donald Trump may be a businessman and a self-proclaimed deal maker, but he's also a politician. He campaigned on America first. That was his promise. But the tariffs have backfired spectacularly. Economic pain has led to political backlash. The US president is under serious pressure at home. At least 12 states have sued his administration. They're challenging Trump's authority to impose sweeping tariffs. The US stock market is jittery. Investors are cheering the possibility of de-escalation, and Trump sees all of this. So he is recalibrating, not completely abandoning the tariffs, but softening the edges. This gives more room for talks. That is already happening in a lot of cases. Countries are lining up to strike a deal with the US, which is what Trump wanted. He wanted business on America's terms. So what does this de-escalation mean for the world? First, the global economy could get a breather. Second, nations that Trump likes could benefit. For example, India. The US says the first trade deal will likely be with India. Vice President J.D. Vance just concluded his visit to India. He was in the country for 4 days. Vance met Prime Minister Modi. They ironed out plans for a trade deal, and now Washington says a deal with New Delhi is a priority. So India has navigated the storm well. What about the others? Europe is caught in the middle. They're hoping for a deal, but Trump is not really playing ball. And then there's China. They're in no mood to compromise. But they've also welcomed reports on the US lowering tariffs. China says it is open to trade talks. At the same time, it is being cautious because Trump remains unpredictable. One tweet, one interview, and the trade war could be back. The US president's backtracking is less about a victory for China and more of a reality check for Washington. Supply chains and economies are connected more than ever. You cannot just slap tariffs and expect factories to relocate overnight. These things take time. The trade war may have looked good on paper, but the battlefield turned out to be quite messy. Greeting you with aloha and namaste.
Okay, any comments on that? Okay, yes, Trump he backed up from 245% tariffs to now he's down to 50. Okay, he's just making himself look crazy. Okay, I got some need to know information right here. Play that.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. So for the next couple of weeks, we have got to start really considering our next moves. And not just considering, but actually reacting to this news. And our reaction should be to set ourselves in motion towards preparation. Because this thing can go any direction. What are we talking about here? So you have Walmart, Home Depot, Target, and other major American companies warning the American people and Donald Trump that there could be empty shelves in the next 2 weeks because of what this man is doing. Empty shelves. So that's definitely not one of those things you want to sit and ponder on for too long. That's something you want to make some action towards.
Okay.
Those with Robinhood Gold can enjoy a 3%.
Into this conversation, I want you all to go ahead and share it. This is a very, very important message. People who are sitting on the fence about what to do, hopefully this will knock you in the right direction. Go ahead and share the video. If you're new to the channel and you enjoy the truth, consider subscribing and be sure to hit the notification bell so that you can be notified each and every time we upload or go live. So anyways, we are getting back into it. This topic, I think, should be of great concern to our people. Because many times we kind of drag along, hoping that things are going to shift in a certain direction. And I would prefer that we not drag along, that we handle our business, and that we do what it is we have to do as a people. Now, everyone else is doing what they do. There are those who are playing the waiting game as well. I've heard some farmers say that they know that they're going to experience a bit of an ouch right now, but they're hoping that the administration will level things out and things will bounce back to order. Well, I think at this point, we all have sense enough not to wait on anything like that. At least I hope we do. Don't wait for the system to get itself together. Plan ahead. Don't just buy food, store up, buy seeds, save water, whatever it is you have to do. Not too long ago, I heard someone say that there was a dude who would use old bottles and he would fill them up with water and seal them tight and store them. I'm telling you, whatever it is you have to do, you need to do it. There is no time for playing around. Hmm? Nicole says, get our houses in order, stock up, and start gardening. This is what we as a people must do. And we have got to figure out how to come together without all of the drama and the mess that goes along with Black folk coming together. Yes, I said what I said. Sometimes when our folk try to come together, some stuff jumps off. We should have grown up past this point to where we should be able to be more dependable and more safe to be around when it comes to coming together for something so very important. Hmm? Thing is, how many of them benefited when all was quiet? Now they snitch on each other, which I noticed years ago. Now they're speaking up. So that's exactly how they play. When it benefits them, they have nothing to say. When it doesn't benefit them, they are now starting to feel the effects of things. Oh my goodness. Now everybody's out here running scared, running their mouths, trying to figure out what to do next. Many of them are losing money left and right. Huh? Agro Valley in the chat says Trump is like a shameless bully who got punched in the mouth for his foolish policies. Yeah, what we see happening right now, it is definitely a shameful thing for America, for Trump, and the effects of all of this are definitely being felt all around the world. I do have another clip that I want to share with you all, and of course, you know I will be right back.
Lots of mentions of the word deal there, Faisal. What's your sense of whether one may be close?
Hi, Jane. Yeah, we've had some significant developments really in the last hour or so that may help to explain the conciliatory tone that I picked up and communicated in that report, which is that our partners CBS News are reporting that the chief executives of Walmart and Target have privately warned President Trump of empty shelves in the coming weeks if he continues with his tariff policies. And that probably particularly concerns the prohibitive tariffs both ways on US-China trade. We're hearing from the ports on the west coast of America, Los Angeles in particular, of a potential collapse in China to US cargoes, down 33% this week, potentially 44% in the first week of May. This is a serious hit to the world economy and something that will be seen visibly in the US on shelves, if you believe the CEOs of some of America's biggest companies, or at least the reporting of what they have said privately. This is highly significant stuff, may explain, as I say, some of the reaches for deals. We think there might be a meeting between Scott Bessent, who you saw in my report, the US Treasury Secretary, and his Chinese counterpart. That meeting, if it happens, assumes incredible importance in bringing the world down from this trade war. We don't know if it happens. We don't know if the Chinese want to pick up the phone and attend that. We don't know what the conditions will be, but incredibly important meetings happening here at the IMF in DC and not just involving the UK.
Okay, any comments on that? Empty shelves in a couple of weeks.
Shalom, everyone. Yes, and as they were saying that, I looked it up on YouTube, and there is a article called "Container Ship Encountered by Pirates. 3 seconds later, the captain does the unthinkable." They're saying, and that's been 7 days ago, and how these maybe these ships are, these containers are being attacked by pirates. So we will, that's another way that um, the supplies and everything are not going to be getting on to those shelves also. They're attacking those containers, trying to stop them from coming to ports.
Okay. Anybody else got anything on that?
Shalom,
Okay.
everyone. I think, Brother Leonard, this is the way I look at things, right? Right now, the way things are going, it is best for us to get out there and, if we can, buy things in bulk, like going to Sam's or Costco's or, something like that, because we don't know how long this is going to be in effect, right? So I think the main thing is, I don't think we are really going to be affected like they're gonna be. I was thinking about that. Like, they love these imported fancy things like cheese and wine, and it's certain things that they have to have. Us, we can make do. We can pull things together and make it happen. So yeah, we really can. We can make a meal out of nothing. You know what I'm saying? So they're the ones that are really gonna be whining and crying.
Right. Right.
Shalom, but sorry. Shalom, Brother Leonard. Another thing I was thinking about too is that one of the issues I'm thinking could happen is people wait until the last minute, and then that's when that causes panic. And when people don't have what they need, then they tend to want to take from other people. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's another thing we have to worry about, is our safety as well, to make sure that we have things to protect ourselves, to protect our home and our family.
Exactly. You don't want to be out there when the chaos break out. You should already be and got your stuff together and be at the house.
Shalom, everyone. I think that's true, Brother Leonard, of what Mika was saying. We don't want to be in the midst of the chaos and waiting until the last minute, and
Right.
people in stores fighting and all of this other stuff over the last things that's on the shelf. With us having this information and this knowledge of what's going on, we should be ahead of the game.
Right. Exactly. Right. Okay, so with that being said, I'm gonna open it up for some Q&A. Any questions, comments, any dialogue about any other classes or anything you came across, or any questions anybody have on something they want to get broken down? Or...
Brother Leonard, where is it in the Bible where it states something about bread being more precious than gold?
Oh,
Where?
like
You know,
somebody can Google it right quick.
Okay, because I was wondering, is these are the times that they were referring to, that will eventually happen, where people will want food, you know what I mean, more so than gold.
Right. Yeah, I heard it. I heard that verse before, but I can't quote it.
Okay.
Shalom. Sister Anitra was unmuted. I don't know if we can hear her or not, but I saw her trying to unmute.
Okay, let me see.
Shalom.
Oh, we can hear you.
I don't know exactly where it is, but I know it's in the New Testament.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say that. I was getting ready to say this in the New Testament, but I would say something similar to that is when the Pharaoh had the dream of the cows and the what that was. Let me see. I know it was cows, but it was some other animal involved in it. But he saw 7 healthy cows. Then he saw 7 skinny cows, and then there was something else involved in there. But that's the closest thing I can think of to that. And then we already know that every time the Most High want to discipline Israel, he bring a famine. He bring a scarcity of food. He did it with Isaac. He did it with Abraham. Then he did it with Joseph, Jacob when he wanted Jacob and the Israelites into Egypt. So he brought a famine to the land, that region, and then everybody ended up in Egypt. So, I mean, I would say it's no different than right now. Somebody had something?
Shalom. I was going to say that was in Genesis 41, verses 53, and then in Genesis 42:17, they mentioned that about the 7 years of famine will begin, as Joseph has said.
Yeah, it said 7 cows. What's the other one?
Oh, Shalom. What it just showing me about Genesis 53, the 7 years of the plenty, which will
Corn
yes.
is what it was. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
7 years, seven stalks of corn. 7 was good. Then Pharaoh saw 7 withered corn. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. Anybody else got any comments or questions about anything? Everybody good on that? Okay, let me play this right here, and then we're going to. Somebody got something?
I was just saying, yes, I'm good on that.
Okay. Let me see. Yeah, here we go. I kind of talked about this last night a little bit, but this more in depth right here. Not a coincidence that all of a sudden gold is at the forefront.
$1,500. It was fast, sharp.
So an ounce of gold is $3,500 right now.
A little surreal. And then it pulled back. Some cheered, others panicked. Most just shrugged and moved on. But here's what the majority missed. That $3,500 price wasn't the end of a bull run. It was the start of something else entirely. A revaluation, not just of gold, but of what the financial system is worth, who controls it, and who is quietly leaving the party before the music stops. Let's take a look. A lot of people saw the price and asked, is this a bubble? But here's a better question. What's the message in this move? Because when gold explodes higher, it isn't reacting to growth, it's reacting to failure. It doesn't spike because the future looks brilliant, it spikes because the present looks unsustainable. Gold didn't spike because of price mechanics, it spiked because the architecture of the global economy is cracking under its own contradictions. This wasn't a rally driven by tech optimism or earnings surprises. It was a sudden repricing of safety, a global reassessment of trust. Gold didn't change, the system did. And when systems break, people wonder if they've missed their chance to act. Let's be honest, if someone's asking whether they're too late to profit from gold, they're already behind those who never needed to ask that in the first place. But the good news? No, it's not too late. In fact, this moment might be the most important opportunity to date in a decade. Because what's happening right now isn't a price event, it's a structural reset, a slow, awkward, silent abandonment of faith in the systems that were supposed to be immutable. To understand this moment, you have to understand what's actually behind the move. And it's not just inflation or market positioning. Let's start with the dollar. JP Morgan reckons it's 10 to 15% overvalued based on its long-term real exchange rate. Add in ballooning deficits, Fed interference and tariffs as foreign policy, and you've got a global reserve currency looking more like an overstretched brand. And yet, central banks are watching and they are reacting. Real yields supposed to kill gold, but in 2023, they soared and gold still gained. In 2024, they stayed high and gold still broke records. This isn't a fluke, it's a reappraisal. Trust, it turns out, is the rarest asset of all. And guess what? It's vanishing. There's no austerity, no credible policy, just printing, taxing, borrowing, and hoping. And when hope runs out, gold steps in.
And when gold moves this violently, it's not just about fear. It's about panic at the top. You've probably heard this one before. Gold goes up when people are scared. But that kind of misses the point. People aren't scared. Governments are. Institutions are. Central banks are. And not in the twitchy, headline reactive way, in the we quietly dumped $1 trillion worth of paper for physical assets kind of way. This isn't about inflation. It's about institutional abdication. Gold didn't spike because people saw a bright future. It spiked because they saw no adults in the room. When the IMF, the very institution tasked with maintaining confidence in the global order, publishes papers that effectively says we're screwed, well, that's not a sentiment. That's a thesis. The IMF's latest World Economic Outlook even admits it doesn't know what comes next. Growth is being revised down across the board. Trade policy is being weaponized. Alliances breaking. The playbook, it's outdated. And America is rerunning the 1930s tariff play. And here's a spoiler for you. It didn't end well the first time. So what do you do when the framework itself is breaking down? You hedge, not against volatility, against madness. That's the bit that no one says out loud. Gold isn't just protection against inflation or devaluation. It's protection from insanity, against a system that is run by algorithms, egos, and well-expired ideologies. It's against.
So the system she's talking about is the beast system. And so it's not no coincidence that, like I said, all of a sudden this gold is back at the top of the heap. That's what the creator, and that's what the heaven deals with gold. Every time we went in captivity, when we came out with gold. Okay, any comments or questions on that? Okay, what I'm gonna do is we're gonna go to the book of Enoch. I'm gonna read some chapters out of it. We're gonna go through the whole book of Enoch. We'll read out some chapters every week out of the book of Enoch, because I think it's a lot of things in there that have to be fully understood when you're reading it or when we're going over it. So we're just going to concentrate on the book of Enoch on Thursdays. Okay. What I'm gonna do is we'll do some short chapters. So we'll read some chapters, break down what is being said, and then we'll go to the next chapter. Chapter 1. Andre, you want to read that? You got a book of Enoch? Somebody got a book of Enoch on the line?
Shalom. I have the book of Enoch by Derek A. Shaver. Is that the same one that you might be reading out of?
What does it say?
It says the first chapter, the first word says, the words of the blessing of Enoch, wherein he blessed the elect and righteous, who will be living in the day of tribulation, when all the wicked and godly are. That's it, sir? I'll read it.
Same thing. 17 verses.
Yes, sir. Excuse me. The book of Enoch, chapter 1. The words of the blessing of Enoch, wherein he blessed the elect and righteous, who will be living in the day of tribulation, when all the wicked and godless are to be removed. And he took up his parable and said, Enoch, a righteous man, whose eyes were opened by God, saw the vision of the Holy One in the heavens, which the angel showed me. And from then I heard everything, and from then understood as I saw, but not for this generation, but for a remote one which is for to come. Concerning the elect, I said, and took up my parable concerning them. Verse 5. The Holy Great One will come forth from his dwelling, and the eternal God will tread upon the earth on Mount Sinai, and he shall appear from his camp. He shall appear in the strength of his might from the heaven of heavens, and all shall be smitten with fear, and all the watchers shall quake, and great fear and trembling shall seize them unto the ends of the earth. And the high mountains shall be shaken, and the high hills shall be made low, They shall melt like wax before the flame, and the earth shall be wholly rent in sunder, and all that is upon the earth shall perish, and there shall be a judgment upon all men. But with the righteous he will make peace and will protect the elect. Verse 12. And mercy shall be upon them, and they shall belong to God, and they shall be prospered, and they shall all be blessed. And he will help them all, and light shall appear unto them, and he will make peace with them. And behold, he cometh with 10,000 of his holy ones to execute judgment upon all, and to destroy all the ungodly, and to convict all flesh. 16. Of all the works of their ungodliness which they have ungodly committed. 17. In all the hard things which ungodly sinners have spoken against him. That was Enoch chapter 1. I
Okay.
haven't really, yes, sir. I was just going to say that I haven't really read Enoch, and if you'll break it down like you said, thank you so much, sir.
Okay. Yeah. So we see right here that reading this and looking at it, he's talking about the flood that's going to come, and the destruction of the flood. And then it says in chapter 5, verse 5, chapter 1, verse 5, the Holy Great One will come forth from his dwelling, and the eternal God will tread upon the earth on Mount Zion. So the Holy Great One, if you go to the book of Daniel, right quick, go to Daniel chapter 12, verse 1. Daniel 12 and 1, it says, you see who that is. Daniel 12 and 1 says, and at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince, which standeth for the children of Israel, our people, and there shall be a time of trouble, such as never was since there was a nation, even at the same time, and at that time our people shall be delivered. Everyone that shall be found written in the book. And like I said before, in Daniel chapter 10, we know what book he's talking about. Go to Daniel 10, and it says, Gabriel is talking to Daniel. He says in verse 20, then said he, know thou wherefore I come unto thee, and now I will return and fight with the prince of Persia. That's a fallen angel. And when I am gone forth, lo, the prince of Greece shall come. That's another fallen angel. Then 21, but I will show thee that which is written, that is noted in the scriptures of truth. That's the book of life right there. That's in heaven. And then Gabriel says, and there is none that holdeth with me in these things but Michael, your prince. So Gabriel and Michael looking on this book. So when they come down and get information from these angels, we know they're getting it from Gabriel and Michael. It's coming from Gabriel and Michael because they're the ones looking on the book. So we see that this Holy Great One in Enoch chapter 5 is Michael. And then it also says, and like I said, the Holy Great One will come forth from his dwelling place, which is on the right hand side of the Yahweh, and the eternal God, that's Yahweh, will tread upon the earth on Mount Zion, and he will appear from his camp. So you see right there that just lining up with what's being told to us in the scriptures. When we read it right, it's okay. Something else I want to talk about. Like I said, they got JC talking in parables, right? And the reason being is because Enoch is talking in parables. Enoch is the son of man, but they put this title on JC. So Enoch 1 and verse 2, he took up his parable and said, then Enoch, the righteous man whose eyes were opened by God, saw the vision of the Holy One in the heavens, which the angels showed me, and from them I heard everything, and from them I understood, and as I saw, but not for this generation, but for a remote one, which is for to come. So you see right there that, like I said before, our forefathers Jeremiah and all them was talking to our forefathers, not us. Then you get to Malachi and Amos and Hosea, they talking to us. Okay. So chapter 2, I said I pronounced what's the name wrong just a minute ago. Anita, I probably
Anidra.
Anidra, yeah, I'm keep tongue tied all of a sudden. Yeah. So you want to read chapter 2? A couple of chapters, there's only a few verses in there.
Okay.
You got
Yeah.
a book in there?
Yes, I do.
Okay, we got chapter 2, chapter 2, 3, and 4, because there's only a few verses in there.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Chapter 2. Observe ye everything that takes place in the heaven, how they do not change, their orbits and the luminaries which are in the heaven. They all rise and set in order, each in its season, and transgress not against their appointed order. Behold ye the earth, and give heed the things which take place upon it from first to last, how steadfast they are, how none of the things upon earth change, but all the works of God appear to you. Behold, the summer and the winter, how the whole earth is filled with water, and clouds and dew and rain lie upon it. Observe, chapter 3. Observe and see how in winter all the trees seem as though they had withered and shed all their leaves, except 14 trees which do not lose their foliage, but they retain the old foliage from 2 to 3 years until the new comes. Chapter 4. And again, observe ye the days of summer, how the sun is above the earth over against it, and you seek shade and shelter by reason of the heat of the sun, and the earth also burns with growing heat. So you cannot tread on the earth on a rock by reason of its heat. That was 2, 3, and 4. Shalom.
Right. Okay, so in the King James, when we read in the Genesis beginning, the Genesis story, creation story, we see that he tells us that the sun and the moon is for signs, and I think a lot of people take that lightly and don't really get the full understanding of what he's saying. But if you right here, it says chapter 2 of Enoch says, "Observe ye everything." So that's what we're supposed to be doing and relating it to the Creator, to the works of His hand. It says, "Observe ye everything that takes place in the heaven, how they do not change their orbits, and the luminaries which are in the heaven." So these luminaries and these orbits, they got a mind of their own. And so just like we can transgress, they can. It says right here in verse 2, they all arise and set in order, each its season, and transgress not. Transgress is sin, and transgress not against their appointed order. So all this time, they ain't never transgressed. But we supposed to be way more intelligent and all that. But we mankind constantly transgress against God. So it says in verse 3, behold ye the earth. So it says, observe the earth. Give heed to the things which take place upon it from the first and last. How steadfast, right, they are. How none of the things upon the earth change, but all the works of God appear unto you. So because of this, because they change not, because they steady, because they steadfast, they speaking, they proclaiming Yahweh his order and everything, because they steadfast. 5, behold, the summer and the winter, how the whole earth is filled with water. And that right there I thought was kind of profound, because if you look, like he's saying, and observe everything like you're supposed to closely, it's just like it says, behold, the summer and the winter, how the whole earth is filled with water. So what are you talking about? Well, we know in King James, when he tells us that the whole earth was covered with water, Lord of hosts is moving on the water, it was water everywhere. It was a flood that just happened. And then he divided the earth, well, water above and the water on the oceans, and the waters up in the clouds where we get the rain from. So when you understand that liquid water on the earth, and it's vapors in the heavens. Just like you got rivers of water on the earth, like the Nile River, the Euphrates. You got rivers in heaven too, but they vapors. And like he said in chapter 4 about the sun, says, and ye seek shade and shelter by reason of the heat of the sun, and the earth also burns with growing heat. So people not understanding what the sun, the heat is what is regulating the water that he just told us about. The sun is evaporation and condensation. The sun brings it up into a vapor form into the heavens, and then when the time comes and clouds get full, then it rains. So it's just a cycle. And like he said, we actually surrounded by water. And it's not, if you sitting there contemplating whether it's God or not, all you have to do is look at that. You can see it's some kind of intelligence that's controlling it. Anybody got any comments, questions? Okay. Mika, you want to read chapter 5? You got a book of Enoch?
Yes.
Okay.
Shalom.
I think it's 19 verse.
Okay, you said chapter 5, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Observe ye how the trees cover themselves with green leaves and bear fruit, wherefore give ye heed and know with regard to all his works, and recognize how he that liveth forever hath made them so. And all his works go on thus from year to year forever, and all the tasks which they accomplish for him, and their task changes not, but according as God hath ordained, so it is done. And behold, how the sea and the rivers in like manner accomplish and change not their task from his commandments. But ye have not been steadfast, nor done the commandments of the Lord, but ye have turned away and spoken proud and hard words with impure mouths against his greatness. O ye hard hearted, ye shall find no peace. Therefore shall ye abhor your days, and the years of your life shall perish. The years of your destruction shall be multiplied in eternal damnation, and ye shall find no mercy. In those days ye shall make your names an eternal abomination unto all the righteous. And by thou, I'm sorry, and by you shall all who curse be cursed, and all the sinners and godless shall be accursed by you. And for you, the godless, there shall be this curse. But all they who shall rejoice will find peace, and there shall be forgiveness of sins. And for them shall be every mercy and peace and forbearance, for there shall be salvation unto them as a God goodly light. And for all of you sinners there shall be no salvation, but on you all shall abide a curse. But for the elect there shall be light, and joy and peace shall fall inherit in the earth. And then there shall be a bestow upon the elect wisdom, and they shall all live and never again sin, either though ungodliness or through pride. But they who are wise shall be humble, and they shall not again transgress, nor shall they sin all the days of their life, nor shall they die of the divine anger of wrath, but they shall complete the number of the days of their life and and their lives shall be increased in peace, and the years of their joy shall be multiplied in eternal gladness and peace all the days of their life.
Okay, so chapter 5 is just a reassurance showing us that the righteous says in the last three verses, nor 17, nor shall they sin all the days of their life, nor shall they die with divine anger or wrath, but they shall complete the number of their days of their lives, and their lives shall be increased. So that's when they get resurrected. And the years of their joy shall be multiplied in eternal gladness and peace all the days of their life. So that's just like what David said in Psalm 37, how that the righteous is going to rejoice, where the rest of the sinners and everybody else is going to be ashamed, but we're going to be rejoicing because of, and in peace, because of we're going to be with him. We turn and we follow this path and we sought the Lord in the last days, that we're going to end up with him in peace and in eternal gladness. Okay, anybody else have any comments on that chapter? Okay, I'll read a couple more chapters, then we'll pick a scripture, and then we'll close out. On in chapter 6, it says, notice this chapter 6 is correlated with the same chapter 6 in the King James. It says, and it came to pass when the children of men had multiplied, that in those days were born unto them beautiful and comely daughters, and the angels, the children of heaven, saw and lusted after them, and said to one another, come, let us choose us wives from among the children of men, and begot children. And Sanjaza, who was their leader, said unto them, I fear ye will not indeed agree to this deed, and I alone will have to pay the penalty of the great sin. And they all answered him and said, let us all swear an oath, and all bind ourselves by mutual implications not to abandon this plan, but to do this thing. Then swore they all together and bound themselves by mutual implications upon it. And they were in all 200 who descended in the days of Jared on the summit of Mount Hermon, and they called it Mount Hermon because they had sworn and bound themselves by mutual implications upon it. And these are the names of their leaders. I can't say these names. Shemalizer, their leader, Arik, Arkaba, Remel, Kabel, Tamalel, Remel, Daniel, Ezekiel, Baraquel, Azarel, Aromers, I can't say these names, Ananel, Zequel, Sampil, Seturel, Turiel, Jamel, Cyril. These are the names of the chiefs of the teams. So like I said before, these just the leaders they mentioned. And just like when I'm trying to think of his name, Moses' wife, husband, I can't think of his name right now, but he came and told Moses how to set up an order in Israel, how to bring forth law. So he got wise men in Israel, and they divided them up, one wise man to 50 men. And so it's the same thing right here. These ones that came down to the earth was leaders over other angels, over groups of angels, but they the ones came down. Came together and they made a pact on Mount Hermon and came to the earth. And they was watchers. So they had been watching these women, we don't know how long. And then finally they came together and came down on top of Mount Hermon And when you understand where Mount Hermon is right next door to what we was reading last night about Bethel, where Jacob saw the ladder, the portal where the angel was coming up and down. But right when you come through that portal, right there is Mount Hermon, which is where Mount Hermon is in the land of Canaan. Shinar, where the Nimrod was at, all that's tied to Mount Hermon, same region. Any comments? Okay. I'll read chapter 7. It says, and all the others together with them took unto them wives, each chose for himself one. And they began to go in unto them and defile themselves with them. And they taught them charms and enchantments and cutting the roots and made them acquainted with herbs. And they became pregnant. And they bore great giants whose height were 3,000 ells, who consumed all the acquisitions of men. And when they could no longer sustain them, the giants turned against them and devoured mankind. And they began to sin against birds and beasts and reptiles and fish, and to devour one another's flesh and drink the blood. Then the earth laid accusation against the lawless ones. Okay. That was chapter 7. So right here we see where cannibalism came from, eating other human flesh. We see where the violating animals came from. All this came from these giants. Okay. And then when we go to chapter 6, we can see that we're not going to read it now, but they taught them. Chapter 8 says, Azazel taught men to make swords, and knives, and shields, breastplates. All this is come down to the day. But it started right here. The Azazel taught men to make swords, and knives, and shields, breastplates, and made known to them the metals of the earth and the art of working them, right? So everything we're doing now, when we watch these current events and all that, about gold and silver and all that, well, these angels, the one came down and tipped them off on that it was in the earth and how to get it and then how to work it. So it says, chapter 8, verse 1, Azazel taught men to make swords, knives, shields, breastplates, and made known to them the metals of the earth, so what was in the earth, of the earth, and the art of working them, bracelets, ornaments, and the use of autonomy, and beautifying of the eyelids, and all kinds of costly stones, and all coloring tinctures. And there arose much godliness, and they committed fornication, and many were led astray and became corrupt in all their ways. So what you got to understand right here, verse 2, there arose much godliness, right? Much godliness, and they committed fornication. Many were led astray and became corrupt in all their ways. So what right here? What he showed them, it says, the metals of the earth and the art of working them, the bracelets, right? So you gotta come up on the bracelets. It's a way to ease up on them. You can't just come up on them. So it says bracelets, ornaments, and the use of autonomy, and the beautifying of the eyelids, all kinds of costly stones. These angels showed them that, and all coloring potential. Then from that it led to verse 2, and then because of that there arose much godliness, and they committed fornication. So fornication tied to all this. The beautifying of the eyelids, kinds of costly stones, all that tied to it. So verse 2, and there arose much godliness, and they committed fornication, and many were led astray and became corrupt, right? In all their ways. Some Zalta taught enchantments and cutting the roots, aromas, the resolving of enchantments, Raquel taught astrology, Cabell, the constellations, Equel, the knowledge of the clouds, Urquell, the signs of the earth, Shemazah, the signs of the sun, Shirazel, the course of the moon, And as men perished, they cried, and that cry went up to heaven. So right here, when you see where it says they got these gods, they got different names in Egypt, right? But right here, we can see that's the same. These are ones that taught the Egyptians. Right here it says Barkell taught astrology. That's in Egypt. Kabel, the constellation, that's in Egypt. Erquel, the knowledge of the clouds, that's in Egypt. Oracle, the signs of the earth, that's in Egypt. Tudaz, the sign of the sun. The Egyptians worship the sun. So evidently this dude right here, the one tipped them off. And Serakrel, the course of the moon. And as men perished, they cried, and their cry went up to heaven. So these gods they talking about in Egypt, this them right here. Any comments?
Shalom, Brother Leonard.
Okay.
In chapter 8, when they referred to the beautifying of the eyelids, they talking about like makeup or something, like putting makeup on.
Right. This angel right here showed them how to do that. This is where it started.
Okay.
And then, like I said, verse 2, when after he showed them that, it led to godliness, and they committed fornication, and many were led astray and became corrupt. So what he showed them right here, what they mentioned, what led them astray, and they became corrupt.
Okay. The other question is, there was something that I mentioned yesterday when I was trying to figure out the situation with the watchers.
Right.
The watchers they were angels.
Right.
And then they slept with the women. So that's what I was asking. Are the angels, were they shape shifting so they can be the same size as a human?
No. They wasn't as huge. The giants was the ones that came about being huge after the angels. That was one of the results of them sleeping with the women. They got the giants. Those ones that were so huge because I don't know if you know anything about it, but it's a disease. They call it I can't think of the name of it. It's some kind of funny name, but it causes you to grow. So that was the curse that was on the seed that came forth from the angel slept with the woman.
Okay, I think what you're talking about is something that affects your pineal gland.
They call it gigantism.
Okay, I think it's something that affects the pineal gland, and it keeps producing and make people continue to grow.
Right. And it's unnatural. Because, like I was saying, it cause all the defects that we see on the earth, they came from that. Because when he created it, when he said his creation, he said he looked at it and it was good. When he made Adam was good. All the defects, all that stuff that on the earth now came from when the giants was born. Because the angels mixed angelic DNA with human DNA and it don't mix. You get all these defects. That's why I read in 2 Samuel when David came in and he took the Jebusite. He said that his soul hate the lame and the blind. So his soul hate the lame and the blind because David understands where they came from, where those defects came from. Okay. Anybody else? Okay. I'm in chapter 9. I'm gonna read chapter 9. I'll go to let me see. Yeah, I'll read chapter 9. Then I'll stop right there. Okay. It says, and Michael, Uriel, Raphael, and Gabriel looked down from heaven and saw much blood being shed upon the earth, and all lawlessness being wrought upon the earth. So right here, like I was saying, go to Ezekiel chapter 1. Ezekiel tells you as a cloud came, and he said Yah was in the cloud, But not only Yah was in the cloud, but it was 4 angels in the cloud, four living creatures, which is these 4 angels. It's them right here. And then Michael, Uriel, Raphael, and Gabriel looked down from heaven, saw much blood being shed upon the earth, and all lawlessness being wrought upon the earth. And they said one to another, the earth made without inhabitants cries, and the voice of their crying cried up to the gates of heaven. And now to you, the holy ones of heaven, the souls of men make their suit, saying, bring our cause before the Most High. So see the separation? Verse 3, and now you, the holy ones of heaven. Who is the holy ones? These 4 angels. So Yahweh ain't no holy one. So when you read in the scriptures, he keep telling you, I'm the holy one of Israel. If Yah ain't no holy one, then Yahweh ain't the God that's over Israel. It's one of these angels right here, over Israel. It says again, I'll read verse 3, and now you, holy ones of heaven, Yahweh not included. Watch what the verse say. And now ye, holy ones of heaven, the souls of men make their suit to these holy ones, not Yahweh. Then it says, bring our cause before the Most High. See that? Yahweh ain't no holy one. Yahweh ain't no strong one. So it says, 4, and they said to the Lord of the ages, Lord of lords, God of gods, King of kings, God of the ages, the throne of thy glory standeth upon all the generations of the ages, and thy name holy and glorious and blessed unto all ages. Thou hast made all things, power over all things hast thou, and all things are naked and open in thy sight. And thou seest all things, and nothing is hid itself from thee. Thou seest what Azazel have done, who have taught all the unrighteousness on the earth, and revealed the eternal secrets which were kept in heaven, which men were striving to learn, and some Joseph, to whom thou hast given authority to bear rule over his associates, and they have gone to the daughters of men upon the earth, and have slept with the women, and have defiled themselves, and revealed to them all kinds of sins. See that? All kinds of sins. So go back. It says, chapter 8, verse 1. Azazel taught men to make swords, knives, shields, breastplates, and made known to them the metals of the earth, and the art of working them, the bracelets, the ornaments, and the autonomy, and the beautifying of the eyelids, and all kinds of costly stones and coloring. Those are sins he talk about. Right here. It says, verse 7, chapter 9, verse 7. It says, Semjaza, who thou hast given authority to bear rule over his associates, and they have gone to the daughters of men upon the earth, have slept with the women, and have defiled themselves, and revealed to them all kinds of sins. And the women have borne giants, and the whole earth has thereby been filled with the blood of unrighteousness. And now, behold, the souls of those who have died are crying and making their suit to the gates of heaven, and their lamentations have ascended, and cannot cease because of lawless deeds which are wrought on the earth. So I'm gonna read that again. Verse 8 says, and the women have borne giants, and the whole earth has thereby been filled with blood and unrighteousness. So like I said before, you got 2 baskets of figs, right? He asked Jeremiah, what you see? Jeremiah said, I see a basket that's good. And I see a basket that's wicked, very wicked, right? Right here. 2 types of blood on earth. See that? Right here. The women have born giants, right? And the whole earth has thereby been filled with blood and unrighteousness. So this blood is unrighteous. It's unrighteous DNA. unrighteous DNA ain't gonna never do right. So the question we were talking about the other day, this is why the Lord Michael killing everybody. It's unrighteous blood is in him. They ain't gonna never do right. And that's where he come to the earth to judge. And he telling the Hebrews when they go into the land, kill everything there. Because this right here, unrighteous blood, it came from when the giants was created. So right there is a lie when they tell you JC came and died for all the blood on earth. So anyway, verse 9, and now behold, the soul, look at this, and now behold, the souls of those who have died are crying and making their suit to the gates of heaven, and their lamentations have ascended and cannot cease because of lawless deeds which are wrought on the earth. And thou knowest all things before they come to pass. So that's the book of life right here. They know all things before they come to pass. And thou seest these things, and thou doest suffer them. And thou doest not say to us what we are to do to them in regard to these. Okay? So that was chapter 9. Anybody got any comments or questions?
Shalom, Brother Leonard. I was going to say, as you were reading those last few verses, that was explaining the questions that Mika had last night,
Right.
where we couldn't hear her and what she was asking earlier. That's how those giants came about. Yes, sir.
Right. Exactly. And then they the ones that was gigantic. Like I said, the giganticism came because of when their blood mixed. When the angelic DNA mixed with the human DNA, they got these gigantic creatures. Okay, so nobody have any questions or comments? We're gonna pick that scripture. You got a scripture, or Michelle?
Yes, sir. I'm going to be reading out of the book of Joshua, chapter 24, verses 19 through 24. Joshua chapter 24, verse 19. And Joshua said unto the people, ye cannot serve the Lord, for he is a holy God. He is a jealous God. He will not forgive your transgressions nor your sins. If ye forsake the Lord and serve strange gods, then he will turn and do you hurt and consume you. After that he hath done you good. 21. And the people say unto Joshua, nay, but we will serve the Lord. And Joshua said unto the people, ye are witness against yourselves that ye have chosen you, the Lord, to serve him. And they said, we are witnesses. Now therefore put away, said he, the strange gods which are among you, and incline your heart unto the Lord God of Israel. 24. And the people said unto Joshua, the Lord our God will we serve, and his voice will we obey.
Okay, so two things that stuck out when you was reading it. It says that about the witnesses, right? They say we witnesses, right?
Yes, sir. Verse 22, yes, sir.
Yeah, so they witness to what? What they're witnessing to? What they're witness for, or what they're witnessing to? Who the Lord is, right?
Okay.
We ain't dealing with him. So I'm saying that for a reason. So now,
okay,
if you can go to Isaiah 43 and 10, you'll see why he's saying what he's saying. So this Trump, with everything Negroes trying to say that, you plucking scriptures out.
Say that again, Brother Leonard. You broke up just a little bit. Isaiah what?
43 and 10.
Okay.
Start reading it. It's in 10.
Yes, sir. Okay, Isaiah 43 and 10. Ye are my witnesses, yes, said the Lord, and my servant whom I have chosen, that ye may know and believe me and understand that I am he. Before me there was no God formed, neither shall there be after me.
There it is. So he's saying right there, we just read over there. He's saying you the witness. It ain't Jesus. It's me. I was the first one formed. You my witnesses. And then not only in that verse, We see who the suffering servant is. Can you read it again?
Isaiah 43:10. Ye are my witness, said the Lord, and my servant, whom I have
There it is.
chosen. That, yes, sir.
Look at the suffering servant right there. All of it right there. Right in our face. Okay? So then the
Yes,
other
sir.
part was, can you read that? The first couple of verses you read, I lost my train of thought on that.
Yes, sir.
From
Verse 19. And Joshua said unto the people, Ye cannot serve the Lord, for he is an holy God. He is a jealous God. He will not forgive your transgressions nor your sins. If ye forsake the Lord and serve strange gods, then he will turn and do you hurt and consume you. After that, he hath done you good. 21.
right there.
And the people said,
that's
okay.
that's good right there. So that's answer the question what Mika asked. Right there. That's why he killing everybody. You see that? Can you read it again?
Oh, yeah, yes, sir. Get you now. If ye forsake the Lord and serve strange gods, then he will turn and do you hurt and consume you. After that, he had done you good.
Right. So that's why he doing it, because they ain't right. So he coming in, him and the Israelites judgment. That's why he took the Levites to himself, because of the responsibility to judge the earth is on him. But when he came down to the 12 tribes of Israel, he took the Levites from among them, and they helped him with the judgment. That's how we ended up over here, because they fell on they fell on their side of the bargain, and then we got scattered. But we see we was reading earlier in the book of Enoch, the sun don't never the steadfast. The moon everything else steadfast. Is that we ain't steadfast. Michael steadfast. But we fell on what we supposed to be doing and got scattered. And that's why we dealing with the things that we're dealing with to this day. Okay? And that's why wickedness didn't multiply on earth, because ain't nothing being done about it, because we failed. But we see when we was in the right standing with the Lord, we saw what he had us doing. We got sidetracked from that. Okay. Anybody got any questions or comments? Okay, play this little spoken word.
Trying to be who society wants you to be. This strong black woman who doesn't need anyone or anything. Generationally, we watched our mothers suffer in silence and learned to smile when we're unhappy, living life on autopilot. Don't get it twisted. There is nothing wrong with identifying as a strong black woman, but don't let the world's definition consume your identity. Strong but yet hurting internally, hiding your insecurities, trying to live up to a standard that is psychologically detrimental to me. Single mom with responsibilities. You have bills on top of bills, you got kids to feed. With this mindset of Miss Independent, nope, I don't need a man. I can do everything twice as good as he can. See, we were never created to carry the weight of the world on our shoulders. Mouth muzzled, suffering in silence, and your progress is getting slower. Being the world's idea of a strong black woman can be mentally and physically exhausting. Trying to uphold an image that is superficial and costly. I gotta look at strength, even when I'm broken to pieces behind a door that is closed. I can't let them see my scars. I can't expose the unexposed. See, the world will have you feeling shoes that don't belong to you. Have you lived a facade through an identity that ain't true? Well, I declare, no, not I. I made a declaration that I will no longer suffer in silence. I will no longer be the cause of my own turmoil and internal violence. I am strong because I have the courage to show my vulnerabilities. No, I'm not perfect, but my weaknesses are no disability. I'm not super for woman, and that never should have been my aim. Whole, black, and beautiful in God is what changed the game. Confidently walking with my head held high, understanding my worth and watching my goals multiply. Let me introduce you to this strong, black woman. I now know that there is nothing wrong with reaching out for support. Let go of the perfectionism and the fear that you are gonna fall short. See, the next black girl is not your enemy. Let go of this notion that her success is the end of me. You have to uplift one another, because when she wins, we win too. We are trailblazers that will pave the way for the next woman to go through. So let's redefine what it means to be a strong black woman.
Okay. So with that being said, I'm gonna say shalom, shalom, and another shalom. I see everybody on for Sabbath class, unless you want to come in through the men's line tomorrow. Shalom, shalom, and another shalom.
Shalom.
Shalom, everyone.
Shalom.
I highly recommend that you get this book and you read it, because it's a must that you understand who God head is in the order that's in the Old Testament and Tanakh, because it's not the same as in the New Testament. And when you read this and you get an understanding, then the scriptures open up, and then you begin to understand. So I highly recommend that you get this book. It's the Elohim of Israel, and it's a breakdown on the word Elohim and who the God of Israel is, and the Godhead.